stuff. Notably, you're in the Dark Crystal. Other guests we've had the last couple of years have also been in the Dark Crystal. Did you work directly with Jim Henson or with Toby Philpott and some of those legends?
Yes. Is this on?
No.
No.
You might have to turn it on.
So
There's a button here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This is this is sound. Yes. Well, I did work directly with both of those because Jim co-directed with Frank Oz, and Toby was a fellow performer, as was Mike Quinn. Presuming those are the two previous guests you're talking about. There may be others. Dark Crystal was a great training ground for being in Jabba's palace because the techniques were similar. They're basically creatures, and trying to make those creatures not obviously humanoid. So you should be able to look at a creature and think, how did they do that? As you might have done, hopefully, with the mystics in Dark Crystal. And so the other interesting thing about Dark Crystal is I worked on the movie for close to a year, so 11 months plus, because we spent about 6 months working with the creature designers on making them work. So there's a whole 6 months before we turned over any footage on camera. So that research period was really valuable. And we didn't have that kind of research on Return of the Jedi. We just came in and there's a character to play, and you did that having done the groundwork on Dark Crystal. And Jim Henson himself, in addition to co-directing with Frank Oz, would give us performers weekly puppeteering workshops. So we had a masterclass from Jim Henson every week. Because originally the group, Toby and other performers such as myself, we were hired as, what they called us body puppeteers. So our main skill was mime rather than puppeteering, or there was a stilt walker, acrobatics expert, and a dancer from the Royal Ballet, and another dancer from Ballet Rambert. So we weren't puppeteers. And there were going to be sequences in Dark Crystal which would be background puppets, essentially, or sort of less prominent characters, such as the pod people. And even before that, while we were rehearsing for Dark Crystal, they were shooting The Great Muppet Caper. So one day, we were all called in and said, oh, we need some extra puppets for this sequence. It was a sequence at Mallory Towers, I think is the place. A load of Muppets were climbing up the walls of this old stately home. And it was rather cleverly done because there was a lift inside the back of the building, and the Muppets were kind of, we were moving in the lift with a puppet like this behind us, facing upwards as if they were climbing, but it was the lift that was moving. And so that was the first bit of Muppeteering or puppeteering I did on celluloid.
obviously